Hey everybody, this is Jerry from Jerry and Colton's Outdoor Adventures. Looks like it's starting to have a little bit of pop-up mushrooms here in Oklahoma recently. After that little cold snap, it's fairly nice today, warm-wise, and it's not raining, thank the Lord. So I decided to get out and do a little bit of looking. Now, let me turn this camera around and show you what I found so far. I moved to a different area that usually is a hot spot. You can see right back up in here on this little west-facing slope. Oftentimes we'd have quite a few mushrooms turn out, but this is a place that I like, and I'll show you. All right, we've got a pretty good little wad of them. Look, I always go out and take my 22 with me. You just can't ever tell what you run into. It's my little mushroom cutting knife. It's a little custom. I got it at church. Somebody that they know there made it. It's pretty awesome. But to the point, we got some decent looking mushrooms. There's some of them that are kind of small. The little guy there is not huge. But around here, it's like if you don't pick them, they're going to be gone pretty fast. Where I'm finding them, this is kind of an old fence row. It's kind of hard to tell from the camera, but if you look up that way, you can kind of start seeing, like right in through here is where the fence goes, and it used to run right down here. But at the bases of some of these trees, like there, that tree that's kind of you can barely see it right there, and then on over there, there's just some random ones popped up, and believe it or not, a lot of them are still covered with leaves. I do have kind of a little bit of thought in my mind, because usually right in this grove of cedars over here, we're always having a really high concentration of them, or had a real high concentration of them. But the last couple, 3 years, what I've noticed is that has considerably lessened. In fact, I cut my way through there, which that's probably 50 yards from that end to the far end, and it's probably 40 yards this direction, north and south. And I didn't find a single mushroom, not one. When I very first started finding them in that patch, I would find, 100. Then there's an area right over there I can cut in, and that's a creek. It runs off. It stays pretty wet in this area here. The ground has a little bit of a rise, goes into those trees for a few feet, and then drops down into a little creek, and then it kind of starts a gradual rise as it goes up to the north. And I'm finding some along the north-facing slope on the south side, which is the side I'm standing on, and then a few of them on the south-facing slope of that little creek. It's almost like they're around moisture, but not soppy wet. So the further you get away from it, when it gets to where it dries like it wants to be, that's where they're growing. But as I said, I have a question about, can you overhunt mushrooms? If you have a patch that has, the first year you find it, say it's got 100 mushrooms in it, like that was kind of the case up in here for me a few years ago. But now I found maybe 4 in there around the creek and all that. Can you not miss any mushrooms when you're hunting them and do such a good job that you won't have mushrooms there in subsequent years? Or do you need to leave a mushroom or two on purpose? I've tried, I cut them. I don't just yank them out. So I leave the stumps. And if I find one that's damaged, these are all in pretty good shape. If I find one that's damaged, I'll take it and just smash it out really good, and then I'll throw it out, into the woods, just in the same area that I found it. Sometimes I'll bury little pieces of it, hoping that it will help propagate the mushrooms. Can't really tell if it's done any good or not. Sometimes I have actually taken the water and collected the water that I soaked them in for a little while to kind of clean them up, and dumped that out in my mushroom areas where I had found them previously. So it's not like I'm trying to force them to grow in a place. I'm just putting it back where I got them from. And napkins. I've tried leaving a couple sitting on napkins till they spore out, and the napkins will turn kind of a rusty gray color or red color. And I've taken those little those and cut them up into smaller pieces and buried them just, ½ inch, just varying depth below grade level in the same places that I found mushrooms. Can't tell that I've ever done really any good to help keep from clearing out an area. So do you guys think that you can get mushrooms hunted so well that you can wipe them out in an area fairly easily with, you know, a person. Not like, you know, everybody and their dogs going out there hunting mushrooms. This is private property. And this is in literally the middle of nowhere. I'm 35 minutes, 40 minutes from the nearest Walmart. That tells you how far out we are. But this piece of land is landlocked, so there's no access to it other than trails through private property. I've been here since the late 70s, so it's not like, you know, there's no houses anywhere near here, and everybody knows everybody to some degree. People don't just go romping on your place. So I know 100% nobody's slipping in and cutting them. But after I've started actively hunting them, I have seen from the first year to the second year to the third year a steady and consistent decrease in the number of mushrooms that was available for me to pick the subsequent year. So, you know, hit me up down below. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's possible that you can clear out a mushroom patch so well that you won't have any more mushrooms left? Because of that, it's just a beautiful creek. A lot of brush around the edges, but big old rock bluff over there. It's just, man, I like it. And you can hear the water. I'm not sure if you can quite get it or not, but it's kind of a neat thing. If you look right, let me see, right in here, there's a pipe that sticks out of the ground. I'll walk down there to it for you. And water runs out of that pipe year round. We call it pipe water because I'm bad about collecting it and bringing it up to the house. And if we get on a camp out, like a rough camp out, we'll drink that water. All right, now we're down in the bottom. A little bit sliding going on. I didn't want to leave my camera on for that, but this little pipe right here, I'm not sure how they got it in there, but somehow they did. It must be about 12 or 15 feet long, as far as I can tell. But it's just cold. I don't know what the temperature of that water is, but it's probably, man, 37, 38 degrees, like really cold, close to freezing. And it just runs year round. Doesn't matter how hot it's been. It will freeze in the dead of winter, of course, you know, if it's super, super cold. But this is kind of neat. It just sits there and runs off into the creek. This little bit of creek runs into the Polecat, maybe half a mile north of where we're standing. That's facing north, the way we're looking now. It's definitely neat. It's home. I'll get back to you. I'm going to get you another spot and see if we can find anything there. With any luck, there will be something going on. Bye. All right, we're in another spot. This spot right here is kind of on the side of a trail. We came in right through there, but it almost always has turned out a good handful. And what's really weird, it's the same kind of land and foliage and stuff pretty much, with a little bit more cedar on this side. I've never found one single mushroom over here, but I've probably found, you know, in the last few years, 25, 30 in this area right here. I know there's one in here because I came in and thought it was really, really small, I don't know, last weekend. So we're going to go in and see if we can find it again. So follow me. Okay, I can see 3 right here in front of me, but I'm not going to mess with those. I just hope I can remember where they are. Good luck with that. Found another one right here at the base of this tree, but I don't think, you see the size of it, I don't think I'm going to pick it. I think I'll leave it be, because I will be coming back for those other ones which are on the other side of that tree. These still are not the ones that I remembered finding earlier, so I'm gonna keep looking for it. It's kind of funny, you know, a lot of it's about looking at places from different angles and such, but I should have been able to see this one probably a minute ago, But that guy right there, and I do believe I'll go ahead and collect him, as it's somewhat larger. It's not teeny tiny. So I'll cut it. I cut all mine. I don't yank them out by the stem. I don't know if it really makes any difference or not as far as future growth or anything, but I sure like to just pop them off with the stump. It keeps them cleaner. So let's go see if we can find another one. Looks like there's another one just right here by them, little bitty guy. I'm kind of nervous about treading in here too much, because one thing I don't want to do is crush them down. But I think I can be real watchful and careful and make it through here without crushing any. With any luck. They're still not to where I had thought I found one last time. Like I said, it might take me a moment to remember exactly where that was. But when I find it, I'll bring you guys back in with me. Okay. I don't believe that this is one either that I found previously. But it's got to be getting in the area. Big old vine right here. Unfortunately, a lot of pokey things. Makes them where they're really fun to get to from time to time. But I'm gonna keep looking. Well, I didn't find the one I was looking for. The one that I know that I found last week. Well, not with any certainty anyway, but I did pick one out of that bunch. I don't really have a compulsion necessarily to pick every mushroom I see regardless of the size, because, you know, again, this is private property. And really, I don't care if I have every mushroom this place grows or not. Kind of one of those deals. I think I have as much fun just hunting them as anything. I do like eating them. My family likes eating them. My mother, she particularly likes eating them. But, you know, it isn't just about that for me. A lot of it's just the getting out there and crawling around in the woods looking for things. I really enjoy that part. So, you know, this will give me a reason to come back.